Hello, my friend. Just finished a very difficult workout. Got to take care of this temple that holds your unique consciousness. Very important. I've been working out consistently for over a decade now. Link in the description for a fitness course. That's not what this video is about, but in case you're interested in that, it is a monthly cost for the Conscious Men community. There's a course in there. You can watch it and you can cancel if you want. Unless, of course, you want to have very deep conversations with me and a bunch of other guys. I am an existential optimist at this point. Been through all kinds of phases in my life, religion, atheism, and now here I am, an existential optimist who believes in a benevolent higher power that is guiding us if we are open to it. But I digress. This video is going to be about some rite of passages for men. This is what I believe. A huge rite of passage for me, personally, was quitting pornography, becoming completely and utterly free of this vice that has a hold of what I believe is like 90% of men. I don't know if that's statistically accurate, but behind the shadows, when men are alone and feeling sad and come face to face with that void within, there it is. There's pornography just waiting to be this comfort. And many men have been addicted to this for decades. I know that I was. So first thing I want to say is there's no shame and no guilt, because I have been there. So if that is your situation, let's just hang out for a bit, go on this drive, and talk about it. Quitting pornography was a rite of passage for me because I used to think that it was impossible to break free of this, that this was just the modern world that we lived in. If you are a man and you have access to a computer or a smartphone, that's it. You watch pornography. It's normal. It's part of life. I didn't realize that it was a bottleneck for my evolution, spiritually, mentally, physically. And in this video, of course, I'm only speaking from experience, but I have coached and mentored a lot of guys at this point. And pretty much all of them, 90% or more, deeply struggle with this aspect. When you break free of pornography, whether there's science to back this up or not, it changes your brain chemistry. You will feel it physically, but then you will also feel it in a unquantifiable spiritual level. And so many doors in my life started opening up for me when I quit pornography. And it wasn't like God, the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's not like God was rewarding me for finally quitting this filthy vice, but it just created all of this space, both within and without. I started to think more deeply about not the desires of my ego, to be jacked, have women, get money. All those things are fine. But it created space for me to think about the deeper things. And I realized that I was a nihilist. Life is short. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm just a speck in the universe. There's no meaning, there's no purpose, blah, blah, blah. And this was the outlook of which I saw the world. And pornography, in a weird way, kind of supported that, because every night I was watching these low consciousness people have sex. I was watching these beautiful women that I wanted to have sex with get fucked by other men. And it did something to me, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I reached a point where it was just enough. I was done. I was like, dude, I've been addicted to this shit for 2 decades. In case you're wondering, I'll be 37 next month, so I'm getting up there, pushing 40. But yeah, it reached a point where I was like, man, this is no longer in alignment with who I know I'm meant to be. So what I want to tell you, if you want to break free of pornography, it is a process for most people. There are exceptions. Someone can have some kind of deep, mystical, spiritual experience, and then all of a sudden they wake up and they're free of pornography or free of alcoholism or other addictions, whatever it might be. But that is the exception, not the rule. There are a lot of stories when it comes to like plant medicine, like mushrooms and ayahuasca, where guys go on like some profound mushroom journey, and then something happens within them and they come out of it and they never look at pornography again. That can happen, but don't bank on that. There is some work involved, and it's not the work that you think. Usually when we say work, the ego immediately attaches itself to an idea like, okay, I'm gonna break free of pornography, I'm gonna white knuckle it and force it. Really, the work, dude, is consistently bringing conscious awareness to it. Even in the midst of doing the deed, sitting down, finding the perfect video, your pants are at your ankles, whatever it might be, there's a part of you where you're just bringing this conscious awareness to it. And even in the midst of it, you're not judging yourself, you're not shaming yourself, but you are aware that, hey, like, something's off here. This isn't in alignment with who I know I'm meant to be, the highest version of myself. And by consistently doing the work of just bringing awareness to it constantly, no matter how uncomfortable it is, even if, like I said, you're hunched over, watching these videos, doing your thing, still bringing this awareness to it. Your consciousness, at its core, is the pure essence of love. It is loving awareness. I'm going to get kind of spiritual here for a minute. What healed me of the emotional wounds that caused me to be addicted to this particular vice, what healed me of those emotional wounds was just conscious awareness over time, continuing to show up. Things like having a meditation practice, having a journal practice, these are all incredible tools that are very helpful on this journey. If you white knuckle quitting pornography, which many men do, they'll shame themselves into quitting porn. They're like, look at you, you're such a beta male bitch, blah, 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 and then they'll convince themselves to quit. The wound that caused that vice will manifest into something else. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe it's video games. Maybe it's constantly scrolling on dating apps. The wound will find another outlet. So that's why deep healing in this area is the answer. It's the idea of like how pharmaceutical companies, they only treat the symptom. They never treat the cause. They're like, oh, you're depressed? Here, take this pill. And it's like, great, I'm numb and I don't feel anything anymore. Meanwhile, all of the wounds, all of the traumas, things that are trying to come to the surface to be looked at and healed, you're just burying them. Or, you know, if you have chronic headaches and you're like just taking like bottles of Tylenol to like ease the pain, there could be this very deep cause that 10 years down the road could be life-threatening. Hey man, very quick break in the video. If ever you are considering joining the Conscious Men community, now would be the time to do it. Price just went from $129 a month to $79 a month, and this is very temporary. Once you're in the community, it's locked in. Every week there are 2 group calls, so you will have plenty of opportunities to have a one-on-one conversation with me. Any topics, any questions, and right now the community is small enough to where every call you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to talk to me. When we're Whenever on these calls, I'm just there to serve. I'm there to help the guys that are in the community. There's also over 100 hours of previously recorded Zoom calls that you'll immediately get access to. And there's also a couple of courses in the community. Depending on what you're interested in and what your goals are, there is a body transformation course. It's everything that I've learned in the last 15 years of lifting, health, nutrition. I've basically done all the self-experimentation so you don't have to. It really is the only fitness course that you will ever need. There's also a mini course in there on how I create my videos. If ever you've watched my YouTube channel and you've wondered how I get that cinematic look in my car chats, I break everything down. I share all the techniques, all the camera gear, how I achieve that crisp look without any team. All of it is just done by myself. As you're probably aware by now, I do offer one-on-one coaching and mentoring, but I get dozens and dozens of forms every week, so I have to turn a lot of guys away. The members in the community get first access whenever slots open up for the one-on-one program. So if that's something that you're considering investing in at some point, I would recommend getting in the community first and then sending me a message. But regardless, you can cancel at any time. So if you just want to jump in there, have a few quick conversations with me, and then cancel, you're more than welcome to. Take advantage of it while the price is this low. The link is in the description. Back to the video. So that being said, taking time, being patient, and being gentle with yourself on this journey is very important. Because over time, with quitting pornography, which is not linear, you will gradually make wins and gradually make progress. Maybe you're someone who had a nightly ritual. 7 days a week, before bed, you're pulling up websites, looking at porn, masturbating, whatever it is. And all of a sudden you bring in this awareness, and it goes from 7 days a week to 5 days a week. That's 2 days a week that you are free of this thing, that it doesn't have a hold of you. When time goes on, continuing to do inner work, do self-inquiry, find that place of genuine self-love within yourself. Spirituality is super real. There's a whole dimension of reality that people who deny spirituality are completely missing. Anyone watching this who is a full-blown atheist, I would encourage you, one of these days, maybe when it's legal, take a heroic dose of mushrooms and do it with the intention of finding if there is a higher power that exists beyond the physical. And what you will find will surprise you. But you have to be truly seeking. You can't be doing it from a place of bitterness, of like, oh, fuck this, it's all bullshit. Otherwise, you know, your ego will sabotage seeing those deeper realms. Again, I digress. Nobody talks about how quitting pornography in this modern age is a rite of passage for men. And whether you do it when you're younger, whether you break free in your 20s, as a teenager, or in your 30s, there is a piece of your potential that you are not tapping into fully until you get your sexual energy in check. For the sexual energy to still fully be there, my testosterone's pretty high. I still have a lot of sexual energy running through me, but I'm no longer a slave to it. And this isn't to toot my own horn. I have so much gratitude. I have so much gratitude for the higher aspect of me that actually took the time to do the work, to ask deeper questions, to go within, to forgive myself, to love myself through breaking free of this vice. So if that's calling out to you, man, I just want to encourage you. It is very possible, and you will be shocked of the potential that comes to the surface once you're truly free of it. Not forcing it, not white-knuckling it, but just having resolve within yourself and deciding, okay, no matter how long it takes, I'm going to continue to bring loving, conscious awareness to the sensation and feeling that I get right before I partake in PMO, which stands for pornography, masturbation, orgasm, for anyone new here. So that's it. I just wanted to dive into that. There are other rite of passages, such as breaking free of obesity. You know, like, I think something like 80% of America now is overweight. And I'm not saying that from a place of judgment, but it's like, dude, Humanity is sick, and I'm not saying that from a nihilistic place either. It's just true. A lot of us are living in a body, living with a mind that is not free. But you can decide to climb Mount Everest. And the moment that you take the first step, there's a client who told me this, so I'll shout out to Ben. The moment that you take the first step in climbing Mount Everest, no matter how small, you're literally climbing fucking Mount Everest. And you can be proud of yourself for being on that journey. It's just if you fall off the horse, get right back up, keep going, and be earnest in your decision to do this work. And I know you can do it, man. So all that being said, if you are interested in coaching or mentoring, I have 1 or 2 slots left, if I'm being honest. Click the link below, fill out the form, and we'll jump on a discovery call if it's a good fit. If you're interested in the Conscious Men community, there's a couple courses in there, including a very in-depth fitness course. It's pretty solid. We dive into some deep conversations. It's nowhere near as deep as the one-on-one client work, but if you want to have some quick conversations, we can do that. And that is all, my friend. I hope this helps you. I hope that you feel seen on some level. You are loved. You matter. And you have barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. I'll talk to you soon.
So tired of the sleepless nights, while we're holding on to these white lies. Is it written in the stars?